The overhead lights dimmed as passengers settled into their seats on Flight 247 to Phoenix. Marcus Webb loosened his tie and sank into his first-class seat, feeling every one of his 48 years weighing on his shoulders. The merger negotiations had stretched across 3 continents in 2 weeks, and his reflection in the airplane window showed. A man who'd forgotten what rest looked like. He closed his eyes, hoping for a few hours of peace before the next board meeting. But then he felt it, a gentle tug on his suit jacket sleeve. "You look tired, sir." Marcus opened his eyes to find a little girl standing in the aisle beside him. She couldn't have been more than 6 years old. With strawberry blonde, hair pulled back in a ponytail and wearing a pink dress that had seen better days. A worn green backpack hung from her small shoulders, and her blue eyes held an expression far too knowing for someone so young. "I suppose I am," Marcus replied, managing a polite smile. He glanced around for a parent, but the surrounding seats were empty. "My mommy says when you're tired, you need to rest your heart, not just your body." The girl said this with the simple certainty that children have, as if she'd shared the most obvious wisdom in the world. Something in her words caught him off guard. Marcus had heard countless business consultants talk about self-care and work-life balance, but this child's observation felt different, more honest somehow. "That's very wise," he said. "What's your name?" Emma Chen. "I'm going to see my grandma in Phoenix." She shifted her backpack. "What's your name?" "Marcus. I'm going to Phoenix for work." Emma's face scrunched up thoughtfully. "Do you like your work?" It was such a straightforward question, the kind adults stopped asking each other somewhere along the way. Marcus found himself actually considering it rather than giving his usual rehearsed answer about market leadership and shareholder value. "I used to," he said quietly. "A long time ago." "Then maybe that's why you're so tired." Emma nodded as if this explained everything. "My mommy says when you do things that don't make your heart happy, you get tired in a way that sleep can't fix. Your mother sounds like a smart woman." Marcus felt an unexpected tightness in his chest. "Where is she?" Emma's expression shifted, and she looked down at her scuffed sneakers. "She's in heaven now. That's what everyone says. She got sick last year." The cabin suddenly felt too quiet. Marcus sat up straighter, his executive composure faltering. "I'm so sorry, Emma. That must be very hard." "It is." She looked back up at him, and he was struck by the resilience in those young eyes. "But Grandma says Mommy would want me to keep being kind to people, especially people who look sad or tired, because you never know what someone is carrying." Marcus felt something crack inside him, some carefully constructed wall he'd built over decades of corporate climbing. This child, who had every reason to be absorbed in her own grief, was standing in an airplane aisle worrying about a stranger who looked tired. "Would you like to sit down?" Marcus gestured to the empty seat beside him. "At least until we take off?" Emma brightened and climbed into the seat, her legs dangling well above the floor. She carefully placed her backpack on her lap and unzipped it, pulling out a worn stuffed rabbit with one ear shorter than the other. "This is Mr. Hopscotch," she introduced. "Mommy made him for me when I was little." "He looks well-loved," Marcus observed. "That's what makes him special." Emma hugged the rabbit close. "Grandma says the things we love the most show it. Like how your jacket is wrinkled, I bet you've been working really hard." Marcus glanced down at his rumpled Armani suit and laughed. Actually laughed. Something he realized he hadn't done in weeks. "You're very observant, Emma. Mommy taught me to notice things. She said most people are so busy rushing that they forget to see what's right in front of them." Emma swung her legs gently. "Like right now, most people walked right past you. But I could see you needed someone to talk to." The flight attendant approached, giving Emma a concerned look. "Sweetheart, do you need help finding your seat?" "I'm in 24B, Emma said. "But my new friend Marcus looked lonely, so I came to visit." The attendant smiled warmly. "That's very kind, but we need everyone in their proper seats for takeoff. Your grandma is meeting you in Phoenix?" "Yes, ma'am." "Gate B7. Wonderful." The attendant helped Emma down. "You can visit after we're in the air, if that's all right with the gentleman." "I'd like that very much," Marcus heard himself say. As Emma walked toward the back of the plane, Marcus watched her pause to help an elderly man retrieve a fallen magazine. her small act of kindness as natural as breathing. He thought about his own daughter, Sophia, now 23 and working overseas. When had he last really talked to her? When had he last asked her? About her life instead of lecturing. About career trajectories? The plane lifted into the darkening sky, and Marcus stared out at the fading sunset painting clouds in shades of amber and rose. He thought about Emma's mother, who would never see another sunset, and about the wisdom she'd somehow passed on to her daughter, about paying attention, about kindness, about what truly mattered. 20 minutes into the flight, Emma appeared beside him again, Mr. Hopscotch tucked under her arm. The flight attendant said, "I could visit for a little while if I'm not bothering you." "You're not bothering me at all. In fact, I've been thinking about what you said." Emma climbed back into the seat. "Which part?" "About resting your heart. About doing things that make you happy." Marcus turned to face her fully. "I've spent so many years building a company, making deals, proving myself. But somewhere along the way, I think I forgot why I started. I forgot about the people." "That happens to grown-ups a lot," Emma said matter-of-factly. "They forget that work is supposed to help people, not just make money." Mommy said that's what being successful really means. Did you make someone's life better? Marcus felt his eyes sting. This child was offering him more clarity than 1,000 business books. "Your mother was a remarkable person." "She was." Emma's voice grew softer. "Sometimes I get really sad that she's gone. But then I remember all the things she taught me. And it's like she's still here, you know? Like as long as I keep being the person she wanted me to be, she never really left." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, the drone of the engines providing a peaceful backdrop. "Emma, can I tell you something?" Marcus asked. "Sure. I have a daughter. She's all grown up now, but I haven't been the father I should have been. I've missed so many moments because I was too busy with work. Too tired, I thought. But really, I just had my priorities wrong." Emma considered this carefully. "It's not too late, you know. Mommy used to say it's never too late to start being the person you want to be. You know what? You're absolutely right." Marcus felt a sense of purpose settling over him, different from the driven ambition that usually propelled him forward. This felt quieter, truer. "When I get home, I'm going to call my daughter. Really talk to her. And I'm going to make some changes at my company. Changes that put people first." "That's good." Emma smiled, the kind of pure, unguarded smile that children give when they're genuinely happy. "I think that will help your heart rest." The flight attendant returned with a juice box for Emma and asked Marcus if he needed anything. "Actually," Marcus said, "an idea forming. Is it possible to upgrade this young lady to first class for the rest of the flight?" "Oh, that's not necessary," the attendant began. "Please, I insist. And perhaps some of those cookies I saw earlier?" Emma's eyes went wide. "Really?" "Really. You've given me something far more valuable than a seat upgrade today." As Emma settled in, cookies in hand and wonder on her face, Marcus pulled out his phone. He'd turned it off for the first time in years, ignoring the dozens of emails that surely awaited. Instead, he opened a new message to his daughter. "Sophia," he typed slowly, "I've been a lousy father. Too busy, too absent, too focused on things that don't really matter. I'm sorry. When you're back in the States, I'd like to take you to dinner. Just us. I want to hear about your life, your dreams, everything I've missed. I want to be better. I love you." He hit send before he could second-guess himself. "What did you write?" Emma asked, chocolate cookie crumbs at the corner of her mouth. "I told my daughter I love her, and that I want to do better." I bet that made her really happy. Emma took another bite of cookie. "Love is the most important thing," Mommy always said. "More important than money or being important or anything else. Your mother was a very wise woman, Emma, and she raised a pretty amazing daughter." They spent the rest of the flight talking about Emma's grandmother, who made the best apple pie, about Marcus's childhood dream of being a teacher before he went into business, about Mr. Hopscotch's many adventures. For the first time in years, Marcus felt fully present in a moment, not planning the next meeting or strategizing the next deal. As the plane began its descent into Phoenix, Emma carefully packed Mr. Hopscotch back into her green backpack. "I'm glad I sat next to you," she said. "So am I, more than you know. Will you remember to rest your heart?" she asked seriously. "I will. I promise." Marcus reached into his wallet and pulled out his business card. "Emma, Would you give this to your grandmother? I'd like to set up a scholarship fund in your mother's name, something to help other kids whose parents have passed away, if she's comfortable with it. Emma held the card carefully, reading his name. Marcus Webb, Chief Executive Officer. That's a big job. It is. But you've reminded me that the biggest job anyone has is being a good person. Everything else is just details. The plane touched down smoothly, and as passengers gathered their belongings, Marcus helped Emma with her backpack. They walked together toward the gate, and he stayed with her until her grandmother appeared, a silver-haired woman who swept Emma into a tight hug. "Grandma, this is my friend Marcus," Emma announced. "He's very tired, but he's going to rest his heart." Marcus explained about Emma's kindness and the scholarship idea. Emma's grandmother, tears in her eyes, thanked him profusely. "My daughter would have loved knowing Emma touched someone's life this way," she said. She always believed in the power of simple kindness. As Marcus headed toward his connecting gate, he felt different. Lighter somehow, despite the exhaustion that still pulled at his bones. His phone buzzed with a response from Sophia. "Dad, I would love that. I've missed you. Love you too." 3 months later, Marcus stood at a podium announcing major changes to his company's structure, including a new emphasis on employee well-being, family leave policies, and community investment. The board had been skeptical at first, but Marcus had been immovable. On his desk sat a photo from that day in Phoenix, him and Emma at the gate, her grandmother having insisted on capturing the moment. Beside it was a letter from Emma, her careful handwriting describing her first day at a new school and thanking him for the scholarship fund that was already helping 3 other children. Marcus looked at that photo every day. In it, he could see what Emma had seen on the plane, a tired man who needed to remember what mattered. And beside him, a little girl with wisdom beyond her years, teaching an important lesson about kindness, presence, and the courage to change. The little girl on the plane hadn't just changed his day. She'd changed his life.